Hello YouTube! We have a very special video planned today on the Digimon channel. We have brought with us one of the biggest, girthiest giants on the Yu-Gi-Oh community, MBT. What's up?
Girthiest. That's new. That is new. But I won't deny it. Very happy to be here. Very happy to be playing a superior card game in Digimon. I hope you don't give me the equivalent of Mystic Mind to evaluate.
You're in a very good space, my friend. There is no such thing as Mystic Mind in Digimon.
Oh.
Thank God.
I'm switching games. I'm switching games today.
Absolutely. Good, good. See, that's what we like to hear. We're doing well. Progress. So today's video with Joseph here, we're going to go over 10 Digimon cards dating all the way back to the original BT1 set. He's going to tell me whether he thinks they're good or not. We're going to talk about them, and we'll see how he does out of 10. Sound like a plan?
Sounds like a plan to me.
Let's do this. And don't forget, guys, if you like this content, don't forget to like the video, comment, and subscribe. And turn that notification bell into smashed potatoes. That way you know when it always is basic Digimon videos go. Alright, let's do it. The first Digimon on the quiz today is Gargomon, a green level 4 champion Digimon, 4000 DP, 1 cost to evolve. It's inheritable, gives the Digimon that evolves on top of it 1000 DP during your turn for each suspended Digimon your opponent has on play.
You know, I never really got this Digimon at all. It is just such a departure from like the styles of like Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon. This to me looks like a Pokemon that has decided of its own volition to wear jeans. I mean, like, decidedly a creature, right? Like, it does not look like a person, but it is wearing pants. It's a level 4, which seems like a lot, right? Like, what do these guys start at? 2, 3?
Level 3, level 2, yeah.
So you gotta get a guy on top of this guy to get to this guy. 1000 DP for each of your opponent's suspended Digimon. In my experience, Digimon don't stay suspended for too long, and DP counts don't really matter. I'm gonna say this card is not very good.
And that is correct. You're 1 for 1. What's really cool about this card is it's been power crept by a lot of other cards that have come out since. 1000 DP for each suspended Digimon isn't that big of a deal, and there are cards now that do a lot better at 1000 DP for suspended Digimon. So this card is just power crept, it's no longer viable, and he's 1 for 1. The second card on the quiz today is Takudo, a 3-cost red tamer. 2 effects. During your turn, you can suspend it to gain a memory when an opponent's Digimon is destroyed, and then during your turn, your Digimon with Growlmon and Gallantmon in the name gain Blitz if they evolve, and if it's revealed in security, it does place itself onto the field.
Okay, I am completely unfamiliar with the Blitz keyword. I have no idea if it's like crazy good or just a fun thing that people tried and then it was only okay. Okay, so I know tamers are good. Like, the concept of them. This is like me being like, I know spell cards are good. Yeah, like, obviously. Security effect checks out. The tamers I have heard of and used all do pretty much the same thing, which is they set your memory to an absurd level if you meet a condition. This one doesn't do that. Okay, so the Digimon deletion thing to gain a memory is... It sounds good, right? It sounds like an okay effect, but it doesn't sound like something I'd really go out of my way to play in my deck. This Blitz effect is really hard to cost, like really hard to kind of put on a line, but I think it's actually, it sounds kind of weak, right? Because it's just a sequencing thing. Because it doesn't prevent, like, a Digimon that could not otherwise attack doesn't get to attack if it has Blitz, right? Like, you still gotta chill for a turn, you know, it doesn't unsuspend them. So it seems like the only scenario in which you want it would be if you play a big-ass Digimon and then want to attack immediately... actually, that happens pretty frequently. Alright, I am 100% open to being completely wrong about this, but I'm going to say that this card is not very good.
Well, you are correct. The card isn't very good. In anything other than a Galopmon deck, this card is barely playable. The gaining memory on deletion once per turn is kind of cool, and Galopmon can do some fun things where it can blitz, and then destroy some Digimon, gain the memory back so it's still your turn. And besides that, though, this card doesn't see any real play, and the Galopmon cards aren't very good. So no, this card isn't that good. We're 2 for 2 here. The next card on the line is Mega Digimon Fusion, a white option that costs 0. You do need a white Digimon or Tamer on board to play this option, like any other option. It makes it so your next level 6, level 7 Digivolution costs 6 less. At the end of the turn, that Digimon goes to the bottom of the deck, and that's it. If Insecurity hits hit, it adds to hand. What do we think?
Wow, this is just impossible for me to understand. Okay, so in my experience, level 6 and level 7 Mons have like unbelievable costs, but usually the Digivolution costs aren't that bad. So I feel like this would cost it down to free. So I guess the question is the difference between a level 6 and a level 7 crazy enough that you would be willing to play a card that does nothing if you're not about to Digivolve, that you are going to lose this entire Digimon and everything associated with it at the end of the turn, and the cost is expensive enough that it's worth discounting, but not so prohibitively expensive that you won't be able to play it after firing the option. That's a lot of conditions, but I wouldn't put it past being still kind of crazy. Man, I wish I just knew what some 7s were. I know there are very few resources that you're actually managing in Digimon, insofar as, like, you get to draw cards every time you Digivolve, you know, but I know that the big one is memory. So this does help you cheat the memory limit. I will say this card is good. I think this card is good.
Oh, this card's pretty good. It's actually the only banned card currently.
Oh, crazy. All right. Well.
So Joseph is 3 for 3. Nailing this card is good. There are some level 7s that have very disastrous effects for the opponent. If basically evolved for free, it could end the turn immediately and end the game immediately. Maybe even the match immediately by resolving Mega Digimon Fusion. It also prevents good level 7s from basically existing if this card does exist. So this card is on the ban list, definitely a good card. The next card on the list is Skull Greymon, a level 5 purple ultimate. Its inheritable is Retaliation. It does cost 3 to evolve, and it can discard a card from your hand to give itself a DP boost when attacking. In addition to this, if this card is trashed from the hand, it activates like a danger monster where it has an effect, and the effect places it under a Digimon. So that Retaliation keyword inheritable becomes live again, which, as a reminder, is Death Touch. Deletes a Digimon after losing a battle.
Alright, I'm 100% willing to be wrong about this, but this card, it just seems cracked. It seems great. I know that there is a purple deck, because I really like the one that does it, that trashes a whole bunch of cards, and you are kind of wanting in that deck for a bunch of cards that do stuff when you trash them. And this seems like pretty good. It seems all right. Retaliation, I think, isn't that big of a deal, just because, like, Digimon don't actually fight other Digimon too much, in my experience, but, I mean, it's better than nothing. I imagine this card is good.
It's your first mistake of the run here. Skull Greymon is not that good.
No, but he looks so cool!
The reason why Skull Greymon isn't actually that good is because there aren't a lot of really strong payoffs in the card game that work off of discarding cards. And in addition to that, while Retaliation is cool, you are losing your Digimon to do it, which may be a good thing, but may be a bad thing. And there are just more efficient ways in purple to remove Digimon from the field. without having to run something into it. There are just better cards than this, which is why this card isn't on the list, making this his first mistake, going 3 for 4, but there's always room for redemption.
Except, hold up. What's going on the back there? I was so entranced by what appears to be the living skeleton. I missed... What on earth is that in the back? It's got an... It does kind of look like a penis, I feel like. But it's got like a mouth on it. I don't like that.
It's definitely just a giant robotic penis.
Oh boy, I didn't know that it would end up on top of the Digimon. Oh jeez. I don't like that it has one eye. I don't like that it has a mouth. I don't know what that is, but it is not for me.
The next card on the list is Grumblemon, a level 4 black champion that costs 5 to play, 2 to evolve, and it simply reads, it could evolve on top of a tamer as a level 3 Digimon. Basically making it so your Digimon is a level 3 Digimon, you evolve over it for 2, and you continue on your way. But because Grumblemon is black, this Digimon specifically has to evolve on top of a black tamer.
Whoa! You can't just call a tamer black. What the fuck? This is a completely foreign concept to me, Digivolving on top of tamers. But I guess mechanically it works. It just, you know, it strikes me as something you shouldn't be allowed to do. I wouldn't, I don't know, sacrifice an equip card to summon a monster. Actually, no, wait, I'm describing weathery. All right, so I imagine that's like a thing that black does, maybe, is they pivot between tamers and Digimon. And this seems like a pretty cost-effective way to do it. I know that, you know, from a 3 to a 4, it usually costs 1 or 2, so not that big of a deal. I'm gonna say this card's fine. It seems good to me.
And he's correct. It is a fine card indeed. All of these hybrids that just evolve on top of tamers as if they're level 3 are really good in Digimon. Tamers have little removal when it comes to other opponents interacting with them. Unlike any Digimon can delete a level 3 Digimon, it feels like. But tamers are harder to remove, right? So you can evolve on top of a tamer, and usually it's just hybrid for game as a sneak attack at the end. Alternatively, if you brick and you aren't drawing level 3s, you can evolve a hybrid on top of the tamer and continue up your stack. So definitely a lot of utility there. Definitely a good card, definitely a good concept. Hybrids are pretty strong. And now at a 4 out of 5 score, we move on to Vilemon, a level 4 purple champion blocker. 5 to play, 2 to evolve. Blocker means that it can interrupt another attack by suspending itself and redirecting the attack to itself. This blocker does have a downside though. You lose 2 memory whenever you attack with it. What do we think about this card?
I might be... Oh, I'm definitely outplaying myself here. So, 6,000 doesn't strike me as particularly high. I don't know how good blocking is. I imagine it's decent. You know, the games of Digimon I've played have felt like the difference between one security doesn't really matter. Like, if you're attacking with a big guy into a potential blocker, then you're getting an attack off regardless. And there are some scenarios where I could see that being really good. But there are also some where it's like, okay, if you're clearing a 6, then you are winning the board anyway. And if you're winning the board, it's not super hard to turn that into just a straight-up victory. The when attacking thing is just terrible. Just abysmal. Just 2 memory to attack. But I could imagine a scenario where it turns out to be decent to have that ability where, like, maybe you're at 1 and you don't really have anything cool to play, and this is a mechanism by which you can choke your opponent onto 1 memory without really having to have a particular setup in your grip. But I think I'm overthinking it. This guy just looks like ass. Yeah, I'm going to say this card is bad.
And I do concur with this opinion. Blockers, in general, at this point in the game, are kind of power crept, in the sense that there are so many Digimon and cards that can interact with blockers before an attack even happens. So the blocker may not ever get a chance to block. They're good against some matchups, but on the whole, nothing crazy. And the -2 attack, well, I could do some fun choking games with that sometimes. It's not completely necessary. So all in all, blockers could be better. Some blockers are really good, but this generic blocker, not really. Joseph's at 5 to 6. Let's move on to the next card. Black War Greymon. This big behemoth black-red boss monster, level 6 Mega. That costs 4 to evolve on a black level 5 or a red level 5 at 12,000 DP. When digivolving, depending on its sources, if it has red sources, you get to choose Digimon. Black sources, choose Tamers. Add up some play costs to 6 or less and delete those cards. And on top of that, as a once per turn, all turns effect, where if a Digimon on the opponent's side of the field is deleted, you can restand Black War Greymon. How good is this card, or is it bad? What do we think?
Oh man, if this card isn't cracked, I'm the stupidest man ever. It just, oh wow, this just does everything. So, a friend of mine plays blue-green hybrid? Is that like super popular?
Not really. It's a deck, but
okay,
you know.
So I'm familiar with like the concept of hybrids. And I do know that there are some cards, even at the level 5 and lower level, that are 2-color. I know that 6 is pretty low in terms of capping out. You probably don't get to eat too much, but Tamers are almost always below 6, right? So you'll at least get something. And if you do get to snipe a Digimon, you get to unsuspend. So like, if you have the level 5 black-red hybrid guy, you go for like a security check, you clear it, and then you digivolve into this guy. Can you delete a Digimon and then unsuspend him and then attack again?
Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean, that sounds crazy. I'm gonna say that this card is good.
Oh, you got it. This is an incredible card. Yeah.
I was like, oh man, if this is terrible. I was ready for this to be my like Flying Fortress Skyfire moment where I'm like, oh, it's great. And then you're like, well, there's actually not such a thing as a black Digimon. I've tricked you.
He is right to the point where even a deck is built around this card. Tamer removal is super important in the upcoming format when the new set comes out. Being able to delete Tamers is super crucial. And being an all-around removal for Digimon and Tamers and unsuspending and being flexible with its Digivolution requirements makes this card a powerhouse. Tier 1 even. Card's insane. At a score of 6 to 7, we're going to move on to Icewall, a 1-cost blue option where if hit in security, the opponent loses 2 memory, which is cool. Cool, Icewall. Its main effect is where it shines, though. You play this card, and then each opponent's attack costs 2 memory. So at multiples, this card does stack. So 2 Icewalls means 4 memory paid per attack.
All right, so I know that this security effect is crazy. It is very funny to just end your opponent's turn when they attack, like if they sequence poorly. But it's something that I imagine you're probably playing around if any of these cards are popular. I gotta tell you, the main effect looks really nice. I mean, it really looks like it'll prevent your opponent from attacking. I mean, you don't give them more than like 3 or 4 memory per turn, and getting them into a position where it's not super helpful is nice. The one thing that I could see this sucking for is like if you give them the ability for all of their Digimon to cause them to lose 2 memory, it becomes super easy to choke you out of memory. But yeah, I think that doesn't matter. I think that this card is good.
Well, I do agree with you. This card is good. This is an incredible card. And Joseph is 7 out of 8 now. This card is so good that it's limited to 1 copy per deck, because just locking your opponent behind multiple Icewalls per turn can be a really aggravating experience. 4 memory per attack is kind of disgusting. So now we're going to move on to the next card. Death Xmon. A level 7 purple-black Digimon that costs 20 to play and 6 to evolve, either on a level 6 purple or a level 6 black. It has an ability on player when digivolving. You can de-digivolve all your opponent's cards, then delete all their Digimon level 4 or lower. And it doesn't stop there. During the opponent's turn, at the end of their turn, it also just deletes the lowest Digimon on their side of the field. Also, the play cost is reduced by 3 for each Tamer and Digimon your opponent has on the board, so it could make this card potentially really, really cheap.
Does the memory cost reduction, does that apply to the Digivolve cost as well, or just the play cost?
It's just the play cost.
Okay, now this is actually hard. Okay, so this card reads crazy. It reads real nice. It's just a big ass board wipe. You said that those are pretty hard to come by. In my experience, if you Digivolve one and then delete all fours, that just clears the field. And if it doesn't, by the end of your opponent's turn, it will. But it's it is a huge investment. It seems super punishing for decks that, like, go wide. Like, you could theoretically get it, like, to cost something like 3 and then just, like, steamroll them. But 6 is a lot. And 6 on an L6 is crazy. I mean, it just seems like as soon as you play this card, your turn is over. But that might be fine, because it's on play is really nuts. Oh, boy. I'm willing to be wrong about this one, but I am going to say that this card is good.
Well, I'm going to let you know right now that this card is completely busted. For the Yu-Gi-Oh folk watching this video, it's basically a selective dark hole that deletes mostly every monster on the field, every digital monster on the field, and it keeps going. It's one of Digimon's first big removal staple-like cards like Lightning Storm and Droplets, evenly matched. Cards like those. Death X is like the first one Digimon has, and this card's absolutely crazy. So, good job, 8-9, on to the last card. The last card is a tamer, Mimi. It's one of those tamers that sets you to 3 memory at the start of each of your turn, so you can't be choked while you have this tamer. Its main ability says that while you control level 5 Digimon during your turn, level 5 green Digimon, you can suspend this tamer to either hatch a Digi-Egg or promote your level 3 Digimon from the breeding area to your battlefield. Keep in mind that during your turn, you can either choose to hatch an egg or promote a level 3 Digimon from your breeding area.
This is a good card in terms of the memory taming aspect. But there's a lot of those in every color, so I guess it competes for space with the rest of them. That main effect about hatching a Digi-Egg, it seems pretty nuts, because, again, very few resources you're managing in Digimon, but memory is one. This resets your memory to a manageable level if you get choked. And the other one is hatching. I feel like this is a great way to cheat the hatching limit. This card seems really good. This seems good to me.
This card is pretty incredible, so you got it right. There are situations where if you have 2 of these Mimis, you can suspend one.
They stack.
Yeah,
They stack. Oh, no.
Yeah, you can do both. And with that revelation, MBT's final score is 9 out of 10. Mimi is an incredible tamer for the green color. Lets you attack for game, lets you get more hatching, more evolving. It's a great card for consistency, and the memory is always nice too. Well, sir, you did do quite well. 9 out of 10. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling very lucky. I did not. I think a lot of those were near misses, but I'm feeling good. At least I got the red-black hybrid.
The red-black hybrid. Black War Greymon. Hell of a card. Hell of a card. You know, I do really appreciate you coming on my channel, Joseph, and doing this. It was a lot of fun, and I hope that you also had a great time reading some Digimon cards and exploring the game from a fresh perspective.
I did. Man, it is so frustrating to me because I know Digimon is still kind of a card game in its infancy and everything, but I just wish it had more of an online YouTube presence. And I do appreciate that you are one of the individuals at the forefront of making that happen. So very, very happy to be here and tell everyone that Black War Greymon's a good card. I know you were all on the edge of your seat.
Absolutely. And thank you. Thank you, Joseph, for coming on the channel. And you guys in the comment section, do make sure you let us know how you feel about this kind of content. I think we had a fun time making it. And thank you for watching the video. You have a great day. Goodbye.